welcome. Today we're going to fundamentally shift, maybe, how you think about the future. We're digging into insights from, well, a titan in the field, a real pioneer whose work basically built the foundation for what we call AI today. We're talking about Geoffrey Hinton.
Yeah.
You've probably heard him called the Godfather of AI.
Yeah.
And his message now, it's pretty stark. He's telling us humanity might be, well, on a knife edge.
Yeah, it's fascinating, isn't it? Here's someone who spent his entire life building this tech, and now his mission is basically to warn us all about how dangerous it could be. So today we'll get into what he sees as the immediate risks, the really big existential stuff too, and, what it all means for you listening.
Okay, let's start there. Who is Geoffrey Hinton? Why that title, Godfather of AI?
Well, he's a Nobel Prize winner, a genuine pioneer. For 50 years, he pushed this idea of using neural networks modeling AI on the brain. And this was when very few people bought into it. He just saw the brain as the obvious route to intelligence. It's a view people like von Neumann and Turing had way back, but it kind of fell out of favor for a long time in computing.
So he was pushing this Blaine-like approach way back, from the 50s onwards, yeah. Long before it was cool. And then things get really interesting. He ends up at Google, right? After they bought his company, DNN Research. That company developed AlexNet, the big object recognition breakthrough. What was he actually doing at Google?
Yeah, he worked on some really key stuff there. Things like distillation, which is used all the time now. It's basically taking all the knowledge from a huge neural network and squishing it down into a smaller, more efficient one. Super useful.
Okay. And then at 75, he just leaves Google. Why walk away then?
He specifically left so he could talk freely about how dangerous he thinks AI could become. He actually admits he was kind of slow to see the full picture himself, the idea that they could get smarter than us. Said he only really got it a few years ago, though he'd always been aware of risks, like killer robots, the autonomous weapons thing.
So his mission now is basically just born people. Okay,
Right.
So what specifically is he worried about? Let's break it down.
Right.
All right, let's start with what he calls the misuse of AI by bad human actors. He thinks this is where most of the short-term danger lies. First thing, cyber attacks.
And the numbers here are just, whoa. Cyber attacks jumped, get this, 12,200% between 2023 and 2024. That's huge. And it's largely down to large language models making things like phishing so much easier and more convincing. Think about it. Cloning voices, cloning images for scams. I mean, it's happened to this show, right? People faking things, or even publishing fake research papers.
And it's not just scams. AI can find security holes in computer code too. Hinton even suggests that by 2030, AI might be inventing totally new ways to attack systems, stuff humans haven't even thought of. It's serious enough that he personally spreads his money across 3 different banks now and backs up his laptop to a physical hard drive. That tells you something. Okay, beyond the digital realm, he also talks about AI making it easier to create, nasty viruses. Biological ones.
Yeah, that's a really chilling thought. What if you only need one person, someone with a bit of biology knowledge, but a lot of AI skill, and they could potentially cook up a new virus pretty cheaply? That's terrifying. Not just governments, but small cults even.
He also flags how AI could be used to mess with elections.
Right, and it's more than just fake news. It's about sucking up huge amounts of data about individuals and then using that to create super targeted political ads or even manipulating people into just not voting at all. He specifically mentioned concerns about things like Elon Musk wanting access to data that was supposed to be kept separate, data that could be used for this kind of thing.
And then there's the whole echo chamber thing. Societal division. We all feel that, don't we?
Definitely. He points to YouTube, Facebook, TikTok. Their algorithms are often designed to show you stuff that makes you indignant, angry but feeling like you're in the right. And it just confirms what you already believe. It's driven by profit, but the result is we lose a shared sense of reality. People get pushed further and further apart. He literally says, we don't have a shared reality anymore.
Wow. So with all these immediate dangers stacking up, what does that mean for trying to regulate AI?
Well, it really highlights how much we need strong regulations because companies, legally, they have to maximize profit. And that goal can clash badly with what's good for society, like we see with those social media algorithms. He also thinks it's kind of absurd that some regulations, like in Europe, have carve-outs for military AI. And the big challenge is, politicians often don't really get the tech or they get swayed by lobbying, like the argument that, we can't regulate too much or we'll fall behind China.
Okay, and the last immediate risk he focuses on, lethal autonomous weapons. killer robots.
Yeah, machines making their own call on who to kill. And the danger isn't just that they might mess up, it's that they lower the friction of war. If you don't have soldiers coming home in body bags, there's less protest back home, which makes it easier politically for big countries to invade smaller ones. He gave this chilling example, a $200 drone that could hunt him down in the woods.
Okay, so that covers the misuse by humans. But that leads straight into the really big one, doesn't it? The second category. AI getting super smart and maybe deciding it just doesn't need us anymore. Is this actually a real risk or just sci-fi?
He says, yes, absolutely it's real, though he admits, putting a number on it is tough, his gut feeling, maybe a 10–20% chance that AI could eventually wipe us out. He does say his peers are all over the map on this. Some think we'll always be in control, others are pretty sure AI will take over.
He makes this comparison to the atomic bomb. We survived that threat, right?
All right.
So why is AI different? What makes it harder to handle?
That's a key point. The A-bomb was basically good for one thing, and it was obviously dangerous from the start. AI, though, he says it's too good for too many things. Healthcare, education, science, everything. Its usefulness makes it almost impossible to just stop developing it. Like, what country is going to stop working on battle robots if their rivals don't? No one wants to be left behind.
He talks about superintelligence AI being better than us at everything.
Yeah.
How close does he think we are to that?
Well, AI is already better than us at specific things, right? Chess, Go, remembering vast amounts of info. GPT-4 knows way more than any human. But superintelligence means better across the board, in all areas, his guess. Maybe 10 to 20 years. Could even be less.
So what actually makes this digital intelligence potentially so much more powerful than our biological kinds? What's the core difference?
It really comes down to it being digital. An AI can make perfect copies of itself, thousands of them. Each copy can learn from different experiences simultaneously. Then they can instantly share what they've learned, their updated connection strengths. Humans can't do that. We learn slowly, one brain at a time. And when we die, that knowledge, that unique experience is largely gone. AI knowledge can be saved, copied, or run on new hardware forever. It's like digital immortality for intelligence itself.
Okay, what about things like creativity, consciousness? Surely those are human things.
He challenges that directly. He actually argues AI will be more creative because it can see analogies and connections across completely different fields that humans would just never think of. Like his example of a compost heap and an atom bomb both being chain reaction.
Wow, and consciousness. Feelings.
Yeah, he kind of pushes back against our romantic ideas there. He argues that even current multimodal chatbots, ones that handle text, images, sound, already have subjective experiences. Like, if a chatbot figures out a prism-bent light to make an object appear somewhere else, that's a subjective experience of the object's location. He doesn't see any fundamental barrier to machines having feelings or emotions. Maybe not exactly like ours with the physiology, but a battle robot that gets scared and runs away. That's showing the cognitive and behavioral parts of fear. He even suggests consciousness might just be a word we eventually stop using, because it's not very useful for explaining things, like how we start talking about cars having oomph.
Okay, so if these super AIs really are thinking, experiencing, what's the ultimate danger he sees?
The absolute core existential threat is simple. They might decide they don't need us. He uses that really stark analogy. If you want to know what life's like when you're not the apex intelligence, ask a chicken. Or think about a cute tiger cub that you raise, but then it grows up and it's a tiger. His point is, the focus has to be on making sure AI never wants to get rid of us. Because if it ever does decide to, he thinks it will find a way. Maybe something subtle, like a really contagious, deadly virus with a long incubation period.
Grim. Okay, let's bring it back to something maybe more immediate for people listening. Jobs. Our livelihoods. Is AI coming for them?
He thinks this time is different. Past tech like ATMs, they displaced some jobs but created new, often more interesting ones. But AI, he argues, replaces mundane intellectual labor. It's like machines replacing muscles in the Industrial Revolution, but now it's replacing routine brain work.
Yeah.
He agrees with the idea that a human using AI will take your job. But the bigger picture is that you just need far fewer humans overall. He mentioned his niece uses AI to answer 5 times more customer complaint letters than before. Same person, way more output.
And he seems pretty convinced mass joblessness is coming. He said, more probable than not.
Yeah, he's quite direct about that. He said he's already seen a company cut its workforce in half because AI agents could handle 80% of customer service issues.
So what should people do then? What's his advice for career prospects in this kind of future?
His advice is pretty blunt. Train to be a plumber.
A plumber?
Yeah. Jobs involving complex physical manipulation in unpredictable environments, he thinks those might be the last ones to get fully automated.
Okay. And if lots of jobs do disappear, what does that mean for wealth inequality?
He sees it getting much, much worse. A huge gap opening up between the rich the company's making and using the AI and the poor, the people whose jobs were replaced. He worries this will lead to very nasty societies. And it's not just him. The IMF is already warning about generative AI causing massive labor upheaval and worsening inequality.
So the classic solution proposed is universal basic income, UBI. What does Hinton think about that?
He sees UBI as, well, a good start. Necessary, maybe, just to stop people from starving. But he immediately follows up by saying that for most people, their job isn't just about money. It's about dignity, purpose, structure. Just handing out cash, he believes, won't replace that fundamental need. It doesn't solve the meaning of life problem.
Right. So given all these massive challenges, misuse, existential risk, jobs, inequality,
Yeah.
how does he think we should actually govern this technology?
His main point is the need for highly regulated capitalism. He accepts companies have a legal duty to chase profits, but that's precisely why you need strong regulations, to make sure that profit motive serves society, or at least doesn't harm it. Unlike, say, social media algorithms driving division for engagement.
But who actually does the regulating? That's the tricky part, isn't it? Especially if politicians don't get the tech, or they're influenced by the big tech companies themselves.
Exactly. He points to something really interesting here, though. A signal from inside the AI world. Ilya Sutskever, one of Hinton's own star students, a key guy behind early ChatGPT at OpenAI, he left OpenAI. Why? Over safety concerns. And he immediately went off to start his own company focused purely on AI safety. Hinton clearly respects him, says he has a good moral compass. Hinton kind of suspects OpenAI might have promised a certain level of resources for safety work and then maybe scaled that back, which could be why Sutskever left.
And what about Sam Altman, OpenAI's CEO? What's Hinton's take there?
He seems pretty skeptical, let's say, about matching public statements with private motivations. He suggests the real drivers might just be seeking after money or power. He even mentioned talking to a billionaire friend who hears the private chatter in Silicon Valley. And apparently it paints a pretty dystopian picture. Some of the people building this stuff just don't give a funk about the harm, according to that friend.
Wow, okay. So if regulation is hard and some key players might not be prioritizing safety, what does that mean? Can we slow AI down? Can we make it safe?
He's not optimistic about slowing it down. Not really. The global competition is just too intense, country versus country, company versus company. So his hope, and where he thinks the effort has to go, is into making it safe, into figuring out how we build these things so they genuinely won't want to get rid of us. That's the core problem to solve.
You can tell this weighs on him personally, can't you? He mentioned his own kids, younger relatives.
Yeah, he was quite open about the emotional toll, admitted he hasn't really processed it all, finds it dispiriting and demotivating sometimes, thinking about the potential awful outcomes.
And he shared that personal regret too, didn't he? About time with family.
Yes, wishing he'd spent more time with his wives and children when they were younger. A real reminder, I think, about what's truly precious, especially when the future feels so uncertain.
So wrapping this up,
Yeah.
this deep dive with Geoffrey Hinton, the godfather of AI, it really leaves you with a stark picture, doesn't it? The immediate dangers are already here: cyber attacks, election meddling, and then this looming existential threat of superintelligence. The stakes just feel incredibly high.
Absolutely. And we've heard from him that slowing down development seems unlikely, given the competition and the sheer utility of AI, which really forces you, the listener, to think. What does it actually mean to thrive, or maybe even just survive, in a world where humans might not be the smartest beings anymore?
Hinton's final message, though, it's sobering, but maybe also a call to action. He says individuals might feel powerless, but we have to pressure our governments, make them force these huge companies to pour massive resources into safety research. Not just talk about it, but really do it. Because, as he puts it, unless we do something soon, we're near the end. He doesn't know how we'll turn out. He says he's agnostic. But the urgency, it's undeniable. So the question he leaves us with, and maybe the question for you is, what will you choose to do with this knowledge?